And alive. Young people of Ireland, I love you.
I have here the fragments of Ireland's youth, in all glory and shame, screaming at home on Saturday nights or whispering across waves of water to be voiced, not on sanitized national networks or ink-treated and airbrushed in morning papers, not as training scheme names, university stuffing, student holiday loan recipients, or our most valued resource. I have here the flesh, the blood to wet the hands of handshaking conferrers of diplomas and degrees, held by smiling gowned models for the provincial press, looking sweet, admired by neighbours who don't know that they drank their way through college and were up fucking bareback against a nightclub wall the night before. I have here the quiet shirt-coloured kid, harmless, they say, following the route from family farm to accountancy classes. No girl or bad habits, no trouble, no bank debt, but with a father's gun to smoke life from his temple, leaving behind a fog of shock. I have here the testimony, as yet unspoken, by the Galway Pope lovers whose hearts are broken. On this winter street, the nightclubs are shut. An odd, solitary form staggers home, his feet trailing through the cold, trampled chips, the torn brown paper bags, the rubbish and puke, left behind where the party has never started. Who is it flinched at the final moment? Who is it then that saw her later in a darkened corner with another? Who is it then that drank full fathom fivers, borrowed for payment later? Who is it that is not living though breathing? Who is it that will live not now but later? Always later. Nobody. And nobody. A smaller than small, but the inner anger, but with the inner anger of, can the world not feel the inner anger that is bigger than big, that shouts over dance music when dragged out screaming and is kicked by bouncers in the rainy night, that splits the innocent head of a solitary walker but is only arrested later for telling the cops what they are, that bleeds the aching night in a cell, waking up with no memory of what happened. I have here the testimony, as yet unspoken, by the Galway Pope lovers whose hearts are broken. And in the local chipper, dreams are written in the thick table grease by an index finger. A drawing of the sun smiling, the name of an exotic city, the phone number of an unrequited lover are among the dreams to be wiped away when the work is done at the end of the day, or a game of X's and O's when business is slack and the boss is out, each player trying to win within the game's strict limits. And were you out last night, Michelle? And did you see the cut of him? And when I was in Tenerife last Christmas? And why am I growing old in this God-forsaken shithole? In this God-forsaken shithole where one night out a week I get groped by the local losers who weren't man enough to cut the apron strings, who weren't man enough to go like the rest, who weren't man enough. A bus goes by. It slowly crawls the main street Shannon bound. Those faces are coming from somewhere, are going somewhere. They all survey the town from high windows for a moment and are gone. I have here the testimony, as yet unspoken, by the Galway Pope lovers whose hearts are broken. My symbol is not tower, but pit. The upset stomach of a land that has swallowed too many falsities. My muse is not in the shape of a goddess. It is rather the glossy pages of a magazine wanked over by frustrated youth. We are sick of statues and masks. Is this not a line of flesh and blood? Can you not see the bad complexion underneath? In London and New York we have a ruthless freedom, and in the bars we strip our bodies in an ecstatic drunken show. Followed behind the toilets we give head to the highest bidder, and if we need the money the whole bar might get a go. This is the wreckage we have forgotten, washed up on other shores. The wreckage that sits coked and rocking in the window on the second floor. That nightly wanders bewildered down a Hammersmith road, in cold rags ripped, without money, without a home. Yes, we are all running by drinking ourselves dull, running fast from something with a new face over an old skull. Yes, we are all running to where other winds blow, not knowing that by running you come full circle, meet what you already know. This is the wreckage this is our wreckage. But there were the happy as well, summer students serving drinks in Brooklyn, with apartment parties at the weekends, cheap grass to smoke away from mammy, and someone to love from June to October, sweetly living in sin all summer, with pregnancy scares and stomachs pumped. Freedom was a lover with whom to fight, and then to leave, with the conclusive argument of time. But first there were footballs to be kicked, in the long Central Park summer afternoons, where the unbelievable day ends with the haze of dusk, and every bed is already heated by lovers. Here is the freedom of release, here the blank page. Choose your mark to scrawl abroad without personal history. You have been reborn, have come salty and dripping from the Atlantic spray. Thrown up by the ocean, you are naked and may choose your dress. May reinvent for a time in life's feast. Summer sunlit and short-lived as Gatsby.
Ian 142.
Passaggio Cami, Bali, senza terminare nominate sono ragazzi presentarsi all'imbarco con
The last call for the remaining passenger for flight EI 142.
But yes, we were happy, and yes, we were content. Yes, unlike other immigrant souls, those who dream all summer of Christmas at home, only to leave again with crying parents a little older and hopes a little tamer. Those who will change and those who will grow strange. These are the lost friendships these are our lost friends. Tiny little birdie, sing to me, and over on apple tree. In a cider party playground, a cat is killed. A slow sacrifice to the tribe. Tail cut, eye burned, neck cracked, and a blood bond then. The lad's hands tied with rope, in a union to be broken only by jail or a shotgun union of another kind. There's a homemade tattoo to be displayed, and a fuck last night to tell of, and some whiskey robbed from a storeroom to beat each other up for. So what are you looking at? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? So give us a pound or I'll fucking smash you. So no, Your Honor, no.
What are you looking at? Give us a pound or I'll fucking smash that. But Boulder, the mad bastard, raped the bitch. Fucking did the mad cunt. His hearing was due today, but he hung himself first. Found by his mad this morning. Stupid prick. Give us a button, that fag. But Mac is selling cheap wine. And I'll smash any fucker that looks at me. Then we saw the two fuckers kissing. Men, I'm telling you, on the fucking mouth. So myself and Snatcher followed them into the public jacks it was, and bang open the door. Their trousers down, and one of them, fuck it was disgusting. Snatcher's chained at the job, and the pigs busted me. A few slaps and set her right. And Vino's been caught for robbing. So what are you looking at? So give us a pound or I'll fucking smash it. No, Your Honor, no!
My part is the part of a leaf, branchless and floating on a new wind from a new direction. No roots are mine, to clutch deep into a familiar soil, to speak of familiar histories in a homely tongue, to look at patches of grass and feel the line stretch back through generations of the same place, the same blood, to feel this is my place and these are my people, to imagine my grandfather's infancy in the infancy of an old oak. No, mine is the part of a leaf, floating on the traffic air of a city street, landing where it will, blown on again. Ash Wednesday. A people clothed in rhetoric enter another cold Lent. See our foreheads marked with the grey daub of sin. Are our hours of television, videos and queuing the purgatory of divine retribution? Do we starve and be frugal for Easter when we'll taste some sweet egg of reward? Or is Christ 2,000 years gone, too dead to rise with the recession of time? Mammy, Daddy, I have been good. I have said my prayers. I have kneeled in the pool halls of Ireland and kissed the ring of the phone. But there is nothing when I awake each morning, nothing. Then each afternoon, nothing. And at night, nothing. And my hours are hours upon hours that are longer than long. And I will take what I must take to eat and shit. And I will lose myself, lost in the years, lost without reason or role. In this circle, the flowing tide of Shop Street is held at bay. In this circle, responsibility is held at bay. In this circle, the chain links are rusting in a constantly driving rain. Expatriates are back again, back for a decreasingly frequent visit. We'll have to get together some weekend. Yeah, some weekend, maybe next week. Maybe next week. We speak in formulas, learned lines, hollow lines, rehearsed in our teens for performance in our 20s. Time edits our scripts, tapering off into silence and finally absence. We leave much unresolved. We take enough to think about for the rest of our lives. But now we are young and indecisive. We must hang, must be frozen, must not decide, for decision is commitment, and commitment leads to a road whose length is measured in years. We will therefore attempt to go nowhere. We will discuss where we will go for coffee. And when we hear of each breakaway, we shiver. Michael is working in Paris now. He walks the boulevards with confidence. His pockets sound a self-satisfied music, 30 pieces of silver. To leave is to betray, to turn your back, to break away. To leave is to change, to kiss the cheek of the future and smash the circle of apostles into points of individual fate. I have seen you, Michael, in the darkness of an uncivil hour rising to the rain. After a speedy breakfast through the streets you sleepwalk, are pulled, automatic on your way, in answer to the call of another day. Shrill the siren screams, sounding in dead ears that worked by its noise unprotected for years. Click goes the card, from out to in, and on company time you exist again. Am I not lucky? Isn't it great to have a job to start on the dot of 8, but the packing, the grinding, the punching and sorting, the packing, the grinding, the punching and sorting, the packing, the grinding, the punching and sorting. I'll be packed and grinded and sorted, sorted and packed into an early grave, as I've been sorted and packed into an early marriage. I live not hand to mouth, but pint to mouth, and every second day it's bacon and cabbage, bacon and cabbage, bacon and cabbage. Every second day it's bacon and cabbage. And Marie, just 21, and already in the oven a second bun. In comes your husband, pissed as be damned, and soon you're in need of a second pram. You're left at home, ready to break. He gives you nothing but expects food on his plate. I swear to God I'll do something drastic. I want to live before I'm past it. Yes, the packing, the grinding, the punching and sorting, the packing, the grinding, the punching and sorting, the packing, the grinding, the punching and sorting. I'll be packed and grinded and sorted, sorted and punched into an early grave, as I've been sorted and packed into an early marriage. I live not hand to mouth, but slap to mouth. That's why the bastard gets bacon and cabbage. Bacon and cabbage, bacon and cabbage. That's why the bastard gets bacon and cabbage. We have not roamed in lyric fields or bleak bogs of youth, but crawled curbs and stalked streets of broken continuity. We have not sworn allegiance to tricoloured cloth or the number 32. We have not suffered the hand of tyrannical fathers or the collared cane. There is no taste of words newly puked and words newly swallowed. There is no hunger in our blood for any food other than nutrition. Before I was led as a handheld boy, this town opened first before me. From an inland infancy I came, with cases and furniture and family, to a coastal town and the salty expanse of the sea. Then winter promenade walks, well wrapped up and cloaked from the thrilling wave crashes in the dark before bed. Then pools and rocks to paddle and climb, and clamber within sight or earshot of a parent. The world was big as the sea showed me, but I had a haven in a strong and young family. Turning the key in the third attempt, then falling into the hall, red-eyed and burned by dawn. The still walk home, silence then birdsong hurting me head, and the rattling of milk trucks calling workers from bed. Meeting my father on his early way out, meeting his son, the drunken lout. But the cocoa of early evenings drank childishly fast by the fire. Heard it upstairs under protest. I swear to God I'm not tired. And a 10-minute story always heard before bed. To sleep now, sleepy head. Tucked in then to finish with a prayer. Almost asleep. The dream of swimming in a sea of faith. Brood, I have wept for your broken hearts. Brood, I have cried for the scummy cafes, small town chippers, gambling arcades and street corner hangouts of your loneliness. Brood, I have woken up in the night's heart, sweating and shaking from the nightmare. Brood, I have watched helplessly from piers, airports, railway stations, as you dissolved into nothing but dwindling letters, like the lost tribe that you are. Brood, I have heard the hollow plans over pints, of great novels, amazing unmade movies, of teaching English in Prague, while next year we still sit planning, drunk and with bleeding ears. Brood, I have seen the puke spill from the mouths of the disenchanted, with their HIV needles, and their pills, and their hopelessness. Brood, I have seen the blood in the rain, the used condoms, the sullied innocence, the loss. Brood, I hear you are coming back from Japan, with sunken eyes, porcelain nerves, with your failure. Brood, you are out again tonight, drinking and yearning through the nightclubs for love, but finding only guilty sex. Brood, I read your obituary in the paper, was shocked at your last salty journey, mermaidless and alone, buried neatly like the final report, self-inflicted death. Brood, can you hear me? Brood, are you asleep? Are you dreaming of childhood when tomorrow promised Christmas? Oh, but the day when the papal keys were crossed, unfurled, and hung from almost Italian balcony windows in a 1979 Galway that felt young. And oh, it was like Christmas morning, where you would ignore tiredness, expectant and maybe still dreaming that Father somebody, holy or holly, would be met with a present especially for me. Oh, and the warmth of the milky hot cereal and steaming tea slurped quickly and half left in a hurry, to be wrapped in a coat, handed a deck chair, and hustled and bustled out the door, like 1,000 other holy families going on foot to meet their Moses. And oh, onto aunties walking, to meet up in pilgrimage together in one extended gathering of cousins, uncles, aunts and neighbours, to meet the other 11 tribes, all flooding into the still dark road, with candles and torches and bright things, all Lourdes and Christmas in the pedestrian streets. Oh, the hellos and the highs, and the sandwiches and flasks shared with joking policemen directing the way. And oh, then the light of the day, the dawn, or is it the sunset? They look so the same. And the crowds waiting, cheerfully singing, looking frequently at an empty sky. Oh, then a dot bigger and bigger, and the hum of a helicopter, and 1,000 heads, hordes of hearts, and it got bigger and bigger, and everyone went, ah. And oh, the songs, the umbrellas, the healing, the hearts, the magic, the joy. The outstretched arms of Uncle as his eyes grew wet, and his moved voice shook, Amen. Oh, the celebration, the mirth, the beauty and the union of a people, and ah, and oh. And then the words that struck a chord with the nation.
And the truth and the life. Young people of Ireland, I love you.
This then is the testimony. Now it is spoken by the Galway pub lovers whose hearts have been broken.